Hello, everybody. This is the first Substack interview in a while. I've been mostly just writing articles lately, and thank you so much for your likes and comments. It's very encouraging. It gets me very excited about refining my writing project and putting out more. So I've sort of left the interviews or the conversations, but yesterday I reconnected with a dear oldish friend, Bettina Clark from Germany, and we had a wonderful conversation. And I said, "Hey, why don't you come onto the Substack and we'll share some of our common ground and maybe explore a little bit about your wonderful project." So, welcome, Bettina.
I'm delighted to have this chance and very curious. It really matches the way we have been together, what's going to happen, because I really don't want to prepare for things like this. And
Right.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting what's going to happen. It's always exciting.
Yeah. Well, my way, for better or for worse, is not to prepare until the last minute, if even.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
somehow it creates a little stress sometimes, but it always turns out okay. And I just trust the whimsy of the moment and the collective consciousness, Jung
yeah.
talked about, and that just to go with the flow. And so this will be relatively short, but we have so many different categories of themes that we could talk about that maybe we'll
Mhm.
have you back another time and
Mhm.
continue because half an hour isn't going to be enough. But we'll give folks a
Yeah, I
little.
don't mind because I'm so much at the beginning of my project and
Yeah,
it's still so much happening. So right now I can
yeah,
just give you teasers and ideas, and I don't want to give away too much too.
no,
You know
of
how
course.
it is, because
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately there are too many people who grab a good idea.
Ah, right.
So
Yeah,
that's
you
why,
have
yes,
to.
I leave it on a level that is is enough for informative and definitely inspiring for people who read your Substack and
Yeah,
dive into the authentic dialogue, which is where we basically started our
that's where we met. Yeah.
cooperation.
So yeah, we created together like there was a small group of us, and we
Mhm.
it was called the New Andalus Center
Yeah.
for Authentic Dialogue.
Mhm.
And I remember our first little mini conference right here in Toronto, and then
Mhm.
later the same year in near Frankfurt in
Mhm.
Germany, where you and your husband live,
Mhm.
um, where we came together to discuss and open up, explore, and I'm just interested. We were sort of ahead of our time. It's a it's an art or science that is so much needed in the world
Mhm.
now, more than
Mhm.
ever. And 10, 15 years ago, whenever it was, we were already pushing the envelope and
Mhm.
trying to discover what is authentic dialogue and how do you practice it and
Mhm.
what happens when you do. And how is it
Mhm.
useful for conflict resolution or just
Mhm.
connecting at a deeper level. So I'm just wondering, from that kind of gestational period, seminal period, um, the five of us, who are the core team members, we've sort of gone off in different directions, but I believe that we've carried a lot of the spirit of that organization with us. So, in what's your current project, the book that's maybe going to come out sometime, and what you have to offer, which we'll get into a little bit, some teasers. Um, how would you draw a connection between those days of Nakad and authentic
Mhm.
dialogue and what you're wanting to offer people now?
Yeah, that is a very, I would say that that could be the red thread for our conversation, because I remember when I started off in connecting with you as a Hakumista, as
Yeah.
somebody who learned Hakumi and knowing that you were in it. And I was searching without in artificial intelligence that many years ago. I was searching for an answer because somebody said to me at the time and shocked me so much that my whole body was hurting for days and end. You are not authentic.
Mhm.
And she didn't explain to me what it is and what it means. And she basically stopped working with me because we had a project, because you are not authentic. And I said, I need an answer. That's typical Bettina. It's not enough. I need an answer. And then I saw that you were just coming up with this
Mm,
initiative, and I said, how can I join? How can I be there? Experiential learning is my learning. I don't learn because you tell me how it is, but if I can work with you and have a conversation with you and the others in finding out, because that was our idea, to really, really just try to figure out, what does that mean? How many people did we have in our courses said so, and what does that really mean? And we were just still in that space of saying, let's explore together, what are the core competencies for that? What is uh, the core principles? What are the attributes that are attached to it? And
mhm,
having worked so thoroughly with you on that subject, I not only that this is something that was already in life in me, and but I couldn't put a name to it.
yes.
And now that I had a name to it, um, it is basically the self-search. It is how
Mhm,
and when am I authentically present to myself?
right.
Reminds me very much of Otto Scharmer's work with presencing.
Mm,
And I came to the conclusion that the authentic self can only exist in the present moment.
mm,
I cannot be authentically self in the future. Never,
mhm,
neither have I been it in the past in a sense, because the awareness about authenticity, authentic self
mhm,
beingness, if
mhm,
this is a combination of words that exist. My native language is, by the way, German.
yes.
um, I wanted to go distracted for a moment with my language. Yeah, I wanted to go and to answer your question in the sense that, how am I going to find out, um, how am I going in resonance with myself, the
Mm,
authentic part of myself? How do
yes.
I do this?
Uh-huh.
And then, because I learned art history, because I
Right.
learned a lot of facilitation practices, um,
That's right. You
I
did family constellations, and
yes,
also to mention that, like myself, Bettina is a Hakomi graduate, and that's the Hakomi method of somatic and mindful self-inquiry, psychotherapy.
embodiment.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
So
my
yes.
simplistic mind, when you were
Mhm,
talking about past and authenticity and future,
mhm,
um, my duality mind. So if real, true authenticity or authentic truth can only be expressed in the present moment. I mean, it sounds good, and I sort of intuitively agree with that. What if we're in a conversation and we're talking about something in the past, which is relevant,
mhm,
or
mhm.
something in the future, some projects of the future? It's not the present moment. So how do you combine? You know what I mean?
Yes, I know, and I need to correct you, because the moment I
Okay.
give an answer, I am in the present moment with the interpretation of the past.
Hmm.
I cannot transfer myself into the past, neither can I transfer myself in the future. But the 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 awareness I'm getting from the interpretation
Right.
of how I mm, mm, take what we are talking about in the context of the present moment
Right.
is what makes it
Hmm.
necessarily present.
Hmm. Okay.
Did I say it
That's
right?
good. I think so. Yeah.
I was
So,
thinking German, translating into English.
yeah.
I just realized that, sorry.
So
Uh,
with through our authentic connection with the experience, whether
yeah,
it's past or future or in the exact moment, we can sort of presentize the past and presentize
yes,
the future to
beautiful.
create a new word, a new verb.
Yeah, wonderful. I love it.
Uh,
Already registered.
Great.
Love it.
Yeah, well, Bettina, you have one of the best minds I've ever met. A steel trap mind, and and in English, which is not your mother tongue. I just love the way your mind works, and you continually gather up information, and having studied the embodiment and the mindfulness and Hakomi and so on, and some of the Cornerstone method, you're able to immediately weave that into
Hmm, yeah.
philosophy and science and a
Hmm,
knowing, system of knowledge. And then not only that, but even create products or services
hmm,
that
hmm.
can take it out into the world and that other people can benefit from. So give us a couple of teasers about this project, this work that is
Mm.
fermenting inside you.
Yeah. So I studied art history and I was fascinated on one subject in art history, and that is iconography.
Mm.
Iconography, I think in English.
Yep.
And that's the reading of paintings, of pictures.
Mm.
And I was stunned how much information, let's say in the Middle Ages and the Renaissance and so on, is in pictures that we don't see when we don't know.
Mm.
So hortus conclusus, for example, is a garden that is fenced in, and then you have strawberry flowers in there, and then you have a
Right.
unicorn, and maybe you have.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things are symbols.
Mm-hmm.
And besides the fact that I had a great affinity to philosophy in school, and I had a boyfriend at the time in university who was an incredible mind.
Mm-hmm.
I was fascinated by the fact that symbols can give you an information not only about it, the outside, but also about yourself.
Right.
And this is what I then learned in the next step, not only interpretation and knowing about the history and blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
but in Symbolon, which is a method for coaching, we use old masters' paintings
Mm-hmm.
to reflect on ourselves and see whatever is in the picture is not necessary. You don't need to know who the painter was or anything. But what how is the color
Yeah.
and the order of things, how is it what information does it give you?
Right.
So I did for a while also some tours through museums and just to learn how people react to these questions that okay.
Mm.
And ever since I'm a little, not only that I've moved, I don't know how many times and on several continents and different cultures, there's one thing that always stuck with me, and I learned this from my parents. Even if you don't have a lot of money, if you have a home you can go to and you feel safe,
Mm.
you close the door, you feel safe.
Yes.
This is where your whole system can count down and your whole system can feel
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Your nervous
So,
system can regulate, and the vagus nerve, and all that kind of
exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Safety. Yeah.
So whenever we moved, I made sure that the first thing is that it was the right place and the vibe of the place. I was trying to understand the vibe of the place and change it and adapt it to our vibe. And it always worked. It didn't matter whether we live in a modern house, an old house, on a farm, now in a castle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's not the issue for me. The issue was um, how am I resonating with that place at that time in my authentic self? Because I'm changing also. I mean, we are always changing, right? And
Yeah.
maybe one day you find me in a mini house or in a mobile van, or I don't know. I don't know it. So I don't know if I did answer your question, but my understanding then was with everything I've done, and I've done a lot,
Mm-hmm.
is there a chance that I can use my own environment that I am creating as my own artist, as my interior decorator? Can this home give me a, a reflection of myself? Not only that I recognize, aha, this is a furniture I bought there, and so on and so on,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but the whole constellation. And I'm integrating constellation work. What happens if I move one
Right.
piece of furniture it's somewhere else? Does
It's
it
the sacred geometry of the home.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love sacred geometry. There's another subject.
Yeah.
But because also of my knowing in constellation work, and the fact that when we really know how to read our bodies, and our body is so incredibly loud. If the brain doesn't get it, the body gets it first.
Mm.
So can I integrate everything that I have learned in these 30 years, all the experiences I made, all the methods that I learned into something that really interests me, and that is my own home living space.
Mm-hmm.
How do I do this? And the moment I asked that question, it was like bang, bang, bang.
Mm.
And I just brought a book. I was going in a course with these questions
Yeah.
15 years ago in Princeton, US, where we lived.
Right.
And there was a lady, she's a design psychologist. Her name is Toby Israel, and she gave a course someplace like home.
Mm.
And I was in this course, and I said, "That's my work. That's exactly what I want to do, but different."
Uh,
And it took 15 years. It took
yeah.
far longer to really, really now finally say
Mm.
yes. And why did I
Yes.
say yes now?
Right.
Because I have a lot of time for myself.
More to. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I'm changing in the next, yeah.
that's so your the logistics of your personal life, you might say,
Yes,
are aligning with this long-term heart's desire and
yes,
purpose to manifest at this time in your life.
yes, yes.
Ooh, fantastic. It's a wonderful. What does it feel like? Aside from
It
all that what it
feels
consists of, but just the experience.
incredibly, sorry, sorry, sorry.
And so
It
we'll go
feels
for it.
incredible. It feels incredibly liberating on one hand, and on the other hand, it gives me one more purpose in life, and that is to leave something behind that
Mm,
encompasses
yes,
everything that I'm thinking and
right.
feeling in a beautiful, because I also like aesthetics,
Mm.
in a beautiful bind, whatever book.
Nice little package all wrapped up with a bow.
Yep, yep.
You know,
If you want.
one of the many areas that are opening up, it's something I've always been interested in, but it feels like now that I'm definitely a senior citizen, I just turned 79 yesterday. Um, but the idea of the resilient aging and that we're all like the trees in the forest, you know, and older people as we approach death. You know, everybody
Mhm.
is, of course, but when you're in your 60s and 70s, it gets a little bit more present, shall we say, presentizing the future.
Yes,
So one of the things that we attend to is our legacy.
yes,
You know,
that's
like
exactly.
what have I been here on the earth for? What have I
Yeah.
learned? What have I experienced? And if I wanted to leave a gift
Yes.
for my family. Like people leave their, you know, inheritances to their children and all that kind of stuff. But that's just money. But
Hmm.
aside from that, I mean, not that money does
Hmm.
not have value. Not to discount that, but
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
else? What else would I want to leave? For example,
Hmm.
qualities or inspiration or ideas or music or creativity. So it's a wonderful time for you that you know
Hmm.
that question about legacy. What can I? How can I
Hmm.
make the world a better place? So after
Yes.
I'm gone, there's some remnant of my soul that can
Hmm.
continue, like a flower, can continue blooming, right? Or a tree, an ancient tree,
What
like
you're
that
saying is,
1,000-year-old tree that you say you have in your property,
yeah, yeah, yeah. An oak tree,
an oak
actually
tree.
two. Mm.
Oh,
Um, uh, Legacy, yeah, what you're just saying is so interesting because I'm originally coming from the marketing world, and I remember not very long, even when we were having our NACAD in Germany, my brain was always going, how can I sell this?
right. Yeah.
And there was a lot of pressure behind it.
Hmm.
Now I will turn 70 this year, not yesterday. Congratulations, by the way, my friend.
Thanks.
That's wonderful.
Uh,
Uh, um, I'm changing one more time in a way that this is no longer relevant. It's not about how can I make a sellable project out of this.
hmm
It is more the Viktor Frankl idea of what, as you said, what gift am I leaving? What is it that, even if it's only, we cannot move on. It's not my idea either, but that I'm ambitious to have, I don't know how many
hmm
thousand people to suddenly grab my book. No, it's more about this spark. It's about this seedling. It's about
Yeah.
this when
What will
ideas are bundled. It's so beautiful.
what will survive? You know, when you were talking before about the home and how furnishings, for example, or a piece of art can be a symbol that connects the outside, the cosmos, with
Hmm.
us, like the symbols of
Hmm.
astrology, for example.
Yes.
They
Hmm.
reflect back and forth. It's a two-way
Hmm.
street, right?
Hmm.
And I was thinking, well, even if you were just in a tin shack in the middle of the desert, you
Hmm.
know, you could find something, maybe
Hmm.
a stone or
Hmm.
a desert plant, and put it up on the wall, something that's
Hmm.
beautiful and meaningful.
Hmm.
And then I thought, when you were just talking, the about Viktor Frankl, about survival, right? And so, what do we leave behind? What survives after ashes to
Hmm.
ashes and dust to dust, and our soul goes off to another place?
Hmm.
What survives in this world? And they say that in the desert, sometimes in certain deserts, it never rains. Like only once every 5 years, there's a little bit of rain. But the seeds of the plants and the
Yes.
flowers, they're all there. And as soon as the rain comes, whew,
Poof.
it turns into a
Yeah.
garden. National Geographic has pictures of different places, different deserts that do that. So it's like we can leave seeds, not
Yes.
only with our, what do you call it, descendants,
Hmm.
uh, but if some people don't have children, but the people, our students and our friends and our
Hmm.
colleagues, and through our work, we can plant seeds. Talk a little bit more about that, the seeds of your genius. Excuse me for using the word, but we
Hmm.
all have, le
Hmm.
génie, your
Hmm.
particular genius, the art, the mindfulness, you're very, kind of an academic mind as well as an experiential one, which is a beautiful combination.
Hmm.
So, what would be the nature of your seed or seeds that would be the remnants or that survive in this planet, this human society?
Wow, what a deep question.
Take your time, no rush. A nice
Yeah.
deep breath, yeah.
Take a tea.
A little
Um,
saffron tea.
I I came to the conclusion that at some point in life, everybody asks, however deep the question, who am I really? Uh, Not only, I mean, the easier question is, what am I here for? What's my place in society? That's easier to answer, but what am I really? And then, oh my God, this deep dive, and you meet all sorts of theories and ideas and so on. And my thinking was because I tried so many different routes in understanding, in
Yeah.
different thinking theories, religion, trying to understand all. I thought, how can I bring it to a level that is so day to day that it is sounds so terribly easy, but it is actually possible. People, wherever they lived, they always had a home. They had a tent, they had a cave, they
Mm-hmm.
had some kind of a place where they needed to be protected from dangers in the outside, from the weathers, from whatever. So it is that is part of us. We um and home can be all sorts of things. It can be the home where I live. It can be where do I feel home? I give you a tiny little story that is that was so moving for me, where I said, yeah, I got it again. I got it again. I was in a training camp for the More to Life Foundation, and there were people from all over the world. I would say we are over 100 people from really all over the world. And then there was that moment where you come up with a thought that is bothering you and you just cannot, and the mentors are giving you feedback. There's this woman next to me from Martinique, I think, French speaking.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm terribly sorry, but my my whole family is all over the world. My parents in the UK, siblings in France. I am moving and da 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 da. Da. I don't know where home is, she said. She was really in tears. And then the mentor was very quick and she says, tell me, what is home in your mother language? And she said, chez moi. And I was, even now I get goosebumps. I was looking at her, I said, that means at myself, chez moi.
Yeah.
And the mentor looked at her, shrugged her shoulders, and said, here you have your answer. And she left
Mm-hmm.
it alone, and everybody was going, whoa. There are symbols in words that you're using every day. You don't even hear yourself
Absolutely.
saying it anymore, and you needed to be reminded.
Yeah.
And so that moment alone, again, was where I said, I need to work with this home thing, the four walls, the feeling of home, how you interpret it, how you live it, and
Mm-hmm.
can home help you also grow? So, for example, when you have something in your home, you say, ah, I have a cabinet from my mother. I shouldn't say it so loud. Dear mom, it's gorgeous, but it has never been me.
Yeah.
And every time I move with this, I say, ah,
Here we go again, schlepping.
schlepping. And I'm starting to have a conversation with this thing now.
Right.
Yeah.
Why are you in my life? Why don't you go away? What are you here to teach me?
Or whatever, but it gives me a chance to reflect on something. I can find out whether it disturbs me or
Mm-hmm.
is there something in it that reminds me of my mom? Most probably.
Hmm. There's
Yeah.
a if
And so on.
I wrote down a couple of little quotations from some information that you sent me.
Hmm.
What was it now? Nothing in the room is who I am, yet nothing in the room is outside the awareness in which I meet it. And
Hmm.
also, along with that, it's uh, the whole idea of detachment, because
Yeah.
very often when we think of home and the furnishings, and it's about things and
Yeah. Hmm.
objects and a
Hmm.
chair and a painting and a vase and this is, where do I put it? How much does it cost? And oh, it broke, and I have to buy another one. And we have the attachment to the identity of a certain
Hmm.
piece of furniture. Oh, Queen Anne's lace or whatever it is. Henry the
Yeah.
14th. Oh, yeah, French Revolution, whatever. So,
Love it.
so there's nothing wrong with identifying the identities that
Yeah.
we attach to certain things. That's
Hmm.
natural. That's how we know things. But I guess the sweet spot is being able to label things or identify things
Yeah.
as correctly as possible, but not be attached. And to
Yeah.
be able to say, okay, it can sit there in its own glory, but it doesn't have to change my day. I don't have to become a slave to
A
its
certain
meaning,
style or
a
so.
certain style, or even its meaning. Even once we identify the symbolism, great,
Hmm.
okay, the symbol's floating in the air, but I don't have to keep thinking about it every day and pay homage to it. But
That's
anyway,
very Buddhist, isn't it?
it is, yeah. And when I was
Hmm.
reading your words, I was thinking, oh, yeah, very Buddhist.
Hmm. Hmm.
Non-attachment, rather than saying detached, because some people think, oh, detached, that sounds cold
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
impersonal.
it's like,
But in,
hmm.
but in the Buddhist way, I mean, like
Hmm.
non-attached.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's so many of my teachers coming in, and that was my idea too, including you. Uh, People who opened the eyes for me with certain ways. John Eisman, who was with Ron Kurtz
Mm,
together in the Hakomi startup, if you want.
yeah,
I then learned with him the next phase, and
right,
he was very clear about this identification.
right.
And so these are words. There are so many words, authenticity, da, 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 da. They're here. They're here in my orbit, and I want to channel them. And I was looking, and this is really the answer to from the beginning your questions, and now how am I channeling it? With what medium am I
Mm,
challenging it? That
yes,
makes sense to me. Even if there are 1,000 other people out there who might do it, but it seems like there are not that many
yeah,
people who are doing it the way I do it. And I
right, yeah,
definitely will apply the five was it rules of Hakomi, mindfulness, organicity, and loving presence, and all this in
mm,
in in reading rooms. So I am basically my own therapist and client, and the medium that helps me is not AI, but it's my
mm.
room, it's my home.
So here's a little question for you. If you were to go into somebody's room and they invite you, and you look around, and before anything is spoken, what, how would you be able to discern, without being judgmental, of course, but discern to understand that person from what you see in the room? Would you have a certain kind of a spidey sense or Geiger counter or system of symbols? What kinds of things would you look
It's
for?
very interesting what you're asking because
Yeah.
um, I was just in my mind, I was just having this picture how it was just recently with a new neighbor here.
Mm,
And it seems like that because I'm trained so much with people and I'm working since 20 years as a coach, I'm
right.
tracking. I'm tracking, tracking, tracking.
Exactly.
So I'm not tracking the room, and that's me. So
Mm,
it might not be a principle, but it is definitely my guideline. I track
mm,
the person. I
mm,
see how do they open the door? where do they guide me? Do they stop first and see if it's safe and then let me in, or open the door and I go and then I have to find my way around? Or
Right.
and I would
Yeah.
say this would be my also for my own safety. I would see how am I with that? And then only then am I looking for
Right.
other,
Okay. Right.
yeah.
So interesting. So a kind of a spatial intelligence. You're aware
Mm.
of space and
Yeah,
direction and movement,
yeah,
perhaps authentic
yes.
movement or
Hmm.
otherwise. And so you're noticing that, and then you're noticing also how you're responding in the moment to
Hmm.
that, and then
Hmm.
using your own experience as a guide to what the story, the narrative might be.
Hmm.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not so much about, so my work, this new work, is not so much about that type of reflection. It's really more your own relationship to your home,
Yeah.
um, not to other people's home. That might be another category, and I will think about it
Hmm.
because then you have a third person involved.
Right.
For now, it is me and my the things that I have. I mean, I have arranged myself. I'm choosing the clothes that I'm buying. I arrange myself all the time. The way I think, the way I write, the way I dress, the way I whatever. I have my hair or da da da. And so with my house, women when they go to the hairdresser, that's the easiest, and quickest way of changing your personality. You have seen me with short hair. I never really liked it. And I always said, "Oh, Demi Moore, look at me." Boom, you're in a role, suck, right? And
Yeah.
you could do similar things with your
Sure.
home.
Sure. Yeah. So there's a tremendous, freedom and possibility.
Yes.
I guess the
Yeah.
French would say that relationship between the individual and their home, they would say moi et chez moi,
Yeah.
moi
Très
et
bien.
chez moi,
Yeah,
me and my,
absolute. Très
yeah.
bien.
Mhm.
The
So
book could be in French, moi et chez moi, and then like
yeah,
maybe some kind of a triangle or
that
something.
would be a
Yeah.
very cool title, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah. So give us just a little bit more. I'm feeling. I mean, I know because I've read some of your background material, and but I'm not sure how many. If you've given enough little teases out yet for people to get even a vague impression of what you're concocting and putting together. Um, could you give us one more little soupçon, as the French say, a little suspicion or
Um,
something?
I
Taste.
I would love to, but I don't. I learned one thing in Kahuna, that's a Polynesian shamanic work that I've learned,
Yeah.
that when you are in a process of creating something
Uh,
that is very intensely connected to you and it's yours,
mhm.
it's better not to speak about it too much because it dilutes very quickly.
Yes.
And I did in the past, I did speak a lot faster and more about the things that I was thinking,
Yeah.
so much so that I was creating a very big project for a
Mm.
company in Montreal, and the marketing guy just took it away from me and said, "Ah, that was in my drawer." And ever since that, um, um,
Oh, you mean he stole your idea?
yeah, mhm,
Oh, all right. So you want to be careful. Yeah, of
yeah.
course. Yeah.
So I am a little bit nervous about it.
Sure, sure, sure.
The only
Understandable.
thing I can say is, and I can now feel it. I can
Mm.
now feel my heart rate is going up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and on the other hand, I'm so immensely grateful that you are opening the door for me to
Mm.
go go a little bit public with it because
Mm.
I also need to learn to speak it. I'm
Yeah,
writing it right now, right?
yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm writing, I'm exploring, I'm trying to be poetic around it. I'm creating my
Mm.
own vocabulary around it so that it becomes an artwork in itself.
Mm. A language. Yeah. A language of
But I
its
write
own.
in English, and I write in English because that's also very interesting because
Yeah.
all my inner work
Mm-hmm.
trainings that I have done,
Yeah.
all the trainings were all in English.
So
So
it's
when it
um,
comes to self-reflection and to inner work and all of this, my mind goes immediately to English.
it's like home turf, familiar territory.
Yes.
Well, I just like to, as you know, I'm obsessed with the sound of words and the healing attributes of different syllables and sounds, the chorusone method, and so on. So when you were talking about chez moi in French, each language has a different word. Well, in English, the H, the aspirate H, it's. I even have a Substack article about this. This one sound.
Okay.
It's the sound that we make when we're born. Ah, our first breath, right? And then
Yep.
when we die, there's like a ah, that
Yeah.
last breath that comes out. But it's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same H. So home, and then we have Om Mani Padme Hum. The universal mantra, which
Love it.
means the cosmos, God, and everything. And
Wow.
it's so that word itself contains so much. Um, and then
Right.
The M sound is the related to the mother and the nourishment.
Mm-hmm.
And it vibrates when you make a strong humming sound. It's one of the best ways to regulate the nervous system. Actually, a hand on the heart, a deep conscious breath, and then just as loud as you can, and you can feel your whole skull vibrating
Yes.
down. So it brings together, it gathers together. A home, home, my home. It's a
There's a
comforting word.
beautiful connection between your work and my work.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
that.
The sound and the feel of things. Well, thank you so much, Bettina. I think, shall we put your website underneath the video?
Yes, you can
Okay,
do that. The website is also very, let's say, lighthearted.
right.
I'm not going too deep in it
Okay,
with it, also because I'm still coaching people who are in a career transition and so on, and it's a bit of a
right.
different language, and I don't want
Uh,
to confuse them too much.
okay, yeah.
I might
Great.
have to do my own new, but first is the book. And I'd love to have more conversations with you and maybe explore, uh, because explore possibilities because my mind is racing right now. Typical. Um,
Mm,
mm.
go forth and multiply.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm
There's
sure.
there's one sentence I can give you. I have it here from my introduction,
Very good.
and I think it's a wonderful to meditate on.
Hmm.
Mm. A home is not merely seen. It is inhabited through the whole self.
Hmm. Hmm. Merely. It's not merely seen, but it's
Oh,
inhabited through the whole
yeah,
self. Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Well, I mentioned this yesterday in a little conversation, but I watched a lot of things on the internet and so on, and you see in various places in the world, but in Gaza specifically now, the so many millions of people are homeless almost.
Hmm.
But even then, when everything's been taken away, their homes, their children have been killed, but still they're able to put together some semblance of a home, even if
Hmm.
it's an old mattress, to keep the wind
Mhm.
out, or a tent. And there's
Mhm.
something beautiful in there. Maybe a little
Mhm.
remnant of a carpet that they pray on, or
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
place where they can eat together. So even in that extremely reduced circumstance, that natural human instinct to have a hearth, we use that word in English,
Mhm.
hearth,
Nice. I like
which
that.
is a
Mhm.
beautiful word because it contains the word heart and
Mhm.
earth and art
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so the hearth and the home, wherever, or in a palace, it's from the highest to the lowest, it's the same dynamic, really. Creating an environment that is conducive to us being our true, authentic self.
Mhm. And imagine how it is when you, I'm sorry, I'm not answering you on Gaza, but I was just coming up with an idea of how it is if you have to live in a place that is absolutely nothing to do with you.
Mm.
How incredibly stressed you must be.
Mm.
I mean, this is just very small thought also. In the old times, you could, in the hotel rooms, you could change furniture. Nowadays, as everything is built in, nailed in, and you can't even steal a picture. Um, but when I went into a hotel room, I always had to see whether I like the way the furniture is, because sometimes it was, I'm not into feng shui, but there's some energy and
Mm,
so I moved bed or I don't know, just to feel more homey.
sure. Yeah. Right.
Gaza, yeah.
We can work with what's given us, even if we don't bring in new materials. Um, but we can shift things around. Uh, well, there's a lot of information I think has flowed under the bridge. Uh,
I'm sorry I couldn't give you more content.
no, it's good. Keep us guessing. It's nice to have a
Yeah.
little mystery, something to look forward to. And so, well, I wish you all the best with this
Mm,
wonderful process as it
thank you.
becomes, its true self, and will be gratefully helpful for yourself, I'm sure, as well as others,
Mm.
and that it will provide some kind of a service to others. So we'll have you back again if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a process of completion for myself,
yeah,
because I'm doing it in my own home. And I feel like if I am through that, then I will be again on a different level in the sense that I can talk even more differently.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
almost like there's something energetically like there's a kind of a buildup and a
Yeah.
waiting period, and there's something that wants to exhale,
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
closure or completion, so that
Hmm.
another round of the spiral can
Hmm.
take place. But it's like you're at that
Beautifully
cusp
said.
of becoming,
You're always good in this. You're always good in finding
the right
the
word.
connecting. Yeah,
Well,
beautiful.
sometimes it
Yeah.
works. Yeah. Thank you. Well, my dear friend, so thank you so much for being with us and inspiring us. And I'll write up a little bit of what transpired in the
Mhm.
conversation down below.
Oh, thank you.
So
Yes.
when people go on to the
Hmm.
website or the Substack,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
also put your website in there. So if somebody wants to
Yeah,
contact
thank
you
you.
for coaching or
Mm.
whatever. Well, see you around. Auf
Yeah.
Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Thank you very much.
You too. Bye, Bettina.
Bye-bye.